What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV, and I have some breaking news to report. And that is that Robert Redford, the actor and director who sailed to Hollywood stardom with turns in classics such as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and All the President's Men, and invigorated American independent cinema, is one of the founders of the Sundance Film Festival, passed away this morning at his home in Utah, according to his publicist. He was 89 years old. He turned 89, I believe, just this past month. Cindy Berger, his publicist, said he died at his home in the mountains of Utah, the place he loved, surrounded by those he loved. He will be missed greatly. The family requests privacy at this time. Redford was best known as a go-to leading man of the late 60s and 70s, instantly recognizable for his windswept hair and widely beloved for his easy charisma. But he was also an accomplished filmmaker, committed political activist, and culture-shaping entrepreneur. He won the Best Director Oscar for the family melodrama Ordinary People back in 1980, the first of his 9 stints behind the camera. Redford's expansive spirit will live on through the Sundance Institute, a nonprofit organization he founded in 1981 that sponsors the Sundance Film Festival. The festival, held annually in snowy Park City, Utah, showcases offbeat projects and helps launch the careers of new artists. In a career that stretched across more than 6 decades, Redford won 2 Academy Awards, including an honorary prize in 2002 and 3 Golden Globe Awards, including the Cecil B. DeMille Award Lifetime Achievement Honor in 1994. Then President Barack Obama awarded Redford the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2016, saying in remarks at the White House that Americans, quote, admire Bob not just for his remarkable acting, but for having figured out what to do next. He was born Robert Redford Jr. on August 18, 1936, in the beachside community of Santa Monica, California. He eventually moved to New York City, enrolling in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. He made his Broadway debut in the play Tall Story back in 1959 and went on to appear in several popular television shows of the early 1960s, including Alfred Hitchcock Presents and The Twilight Zone. Redford's most high-profile theatrical performance from that period was opposite Elizabeth Ashley in the original Broadway run of Neil Simon's Barefoot in the Park back in 1963, playing the uptight newlywed Paul. It was Barefoot in the Park that catapulted Redford to supporting roles in movies, including the off-kilter Alec Guinness comedy Situation Hopeless, But Not Serious back in 1965, and the show business tale Inside Daisy Clover, starring Natalie Wood. Redford reached a career turning point in 1969 with George Roy Hill's Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He was the sharpshooting Sundance Kid to Paul Newman's quick-witted Butch Cassidy, 2 charming Wild West outlaws trying to make their way to Bolivia. It was this film that anchored one of the most electric star pairings in Hollywood history, conquered the box office, and won over critics. Redford was suddenly a bankable leading man with his pick of projects and legions of admirers across the country. That same year, he starred as the relentless skier and downhill racer and a lawman in Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here. He also had parts and turns as a motorcyclist in Little Falls and Big Housley and a jewel thief in The Hot Rock, but both movies fizzled at the box office. He captivated audiences as a rugged mountain man in Sidney Pollack's Jeremiah Johnson in 1972 and Barbra Streisand's romantic partner in The Way We Were in 1973. He teamed again with Paul Newman and director George Roy Hill for the light-hearted caper The Sting back in 1973. That movie dominated the box office, scooped up the Oscar for Best Picture, and delivered Redford his first and only nomination for Best Actor at the 1974 ceremony. He would also round out the decade starring in The Great Gatsby, The Great Waldo Pepper, and 3 Days of the Connor. He also would go to star on in the movie The All the President's Men, an adaptation of the best-selling memoir of the same name by Washington Post journalist Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, who doggedly investigated the Watergate scandal. He would close out the decade with a small part in the war epic A Bridge Too Far. And, me personally, I think one of my favorite films he ever did was the picture you see here, The Natural. I think that's probably my favorite picture that he ever did. And I think the guy's name was Roy Hobbs. And he basically is like by far the greatest natural baseball talent ever. Like, I mean, he makes the greatest players I've ever seen look amateurish. He was that good, but I think it was something dealing with. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. It was some scandal or something that happened that prevented him from making it to the majors. I forgot. It's been like 20 years since I watched the movie because it almost never comes on television. But during the 1990s, as he got older, his career transitioned into more of a co-starring venue where either he would be in a supporting role or it would be in an ensemble type thing where Robert Redford still had a lot of fans, but they would team up with younger stars. And for instance, in the 1990s, he starred in Sneakers. He was in A Decent Proposal. In the 2000s, The Last Castle and Spy Game. And of course, he was also a director during that period for the films A River Runs Through It, Quiz Show, The Horse Whisperer, The Legend of Bagger Vance, Lions for Lambs, more recently, The Conspirator and The Company You Keep. And in his later years, Redford took on a challenging role in All Is Lost. And he portrayed Dan Rather in a movie called The Truth from 10 years ago. And in recent years, a new generation of moviegoers saw him as the villainous government operative Alexander Pierce in the Marvel franchise entries Captain America, The Winter Soldier from 2014 and Avengers Endgame in 2019. And he is survived by his wife, Sybil Svagers, and 2 children. Hope I pronounced that correctly. I probably didn't. And 2 children from a previous marriage to Lola Van Wagenen, Shauna Jean Redford, and Amy Hart Redford. Redford and his first wife lost 2 sons. Scott Anthony Redford, born in 1959, died of sudden infant death syndrome. And another son, David James Redford, passed away of cancer back in 2020. Once again, Hollywood icon Robert Redford, dead at the age of 89.